saying they heard children screaming inside of shipping containers.
Staff here at the port became aware of screaming and banging coming from a container from that particular ship.
Pounding and beating on the walls of that trailer, trying to get out.
And if you can imagine the heat, no air conditioning.
Can we just think for a moment of what it must have been like for those 39 people, obviously in a desperate and dangerous situation, for their lives to end, suffocated to death in a container.
Found the trailers with a body outside and several that they could visibly see inside once the doors were opened.
35 patients were found in the container when we first arrived.
You don't end up with 35 people in a container for no reason.
So we sent the truck out to pick up the container.
Started pulling it up. It was so heavy, it just it broke the winch. I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And it's just, just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. Their heads chopped off, arms, legs, just
a gruesome discovery. Police say they found 39 bodies inside the container truck.
The court's paperwork is giving us a better idea of what exactly happened in those shipping containers.
We hope that those responsible for putting these people in such humane conditions are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Something that lives in the deepest, darkest hole of the thing called Dexter.
In there. Somebody else, get in there now.
It's all right, little guy. You're safe now. Nothing will hurt you. I promise.
Trying to tell people about this for years. You think I created this mask for no reason? Listen, this is real. This has been happening, okay? This isn't a political thing, okay? This is a very important topic that you simply need to know about. So as you're living your daily life, you can keep your ears open, because this happens every day, not just in containers, but in your suburbs, in the churches, in Freemason halls, which Freemasons are everywhere. Freemasonry is full of pedophiles, and Freemasons are everywhere. You got to believe Allie and people like Allie who say the craziest shit, because I have tried to vet her for 5 years. And while you can't directly easily do it, over 5 years, you'll run into enough evidence that you'll know she's telling the truth. Here's some of it.
One time he locked me in containers with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them. Everybody was just staring at each other. Nobody knew whether or not to move.
It's been trying to tell us all this time. Remember the shipping containers? Videos of containers that were actually used to traffic people. The fact that Kendrick has put so much emphasis on this part in his music videos is very interesting, especially considering that his main criticism towards Drake was the accusation of being a trafficker. And you want to know something even crazier? This is Diddy's resort called Star Island. A lot of the wild parties and events took place here. Well, guess what? If you look in the distance, you can see the ports. The same ports that people have been protesting against. Yes, those ports. How ironic is it that Diddy chose to have a special resort for his parties right in front of these ports? Kendrick knew a lot more than we realized. Maybe that's what some of his other attacks were hinting at. He may even be involved in the case. Who knows?
Is not lying. When that baby said that there's tunnels under elementary, middle, and high schools, she not lying. We used to skip in the tunnels in my school, and it's crazy because only a select few people knew about it, and if you went down there without the right person, you would get lost forever. So there was an entryway through the basement, and I don't know who found it first, but it was like only the people who could keep a secret knew about it. So we were skipping in the tunnels. And it just so happened that my brother and his dummy friends were down there. And they, like, the tunnels come up in different parts of the city, like the depend on how long you walk. So my brother and his friends had got caught, and the police were called. But it's weird because there was never like a official police report. And then after, the police were never looking for them, but found me and my friend. And then when they told our parents, they never mentioned the tunnels at all. They said that they caught us skipping outside the school grounds. And we didn't tell, because why the fuck would I tell my mom that I was in the tunnels with a boy? So I didn't tell, the police didn't tell, the school didn't tell. Nobody ever mentioned the tunnels. And then the basement, where the entryway was like blocked off for us. But like, it just dawned on me, like, I never said nothing because I don't want to get in trouble. But like, what the fuck were the tunnels there for?
I know that Allie Carter isn't lying about the underground tunnels in schools, and I'm gonna tell you why. I just recorded this video and I realized that I didn't use the terminology the correct way for TikTok, so I had to re-record this. Okay, so let's get into it. When I was in junior high school in Queens, New York, I went to a school called RFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And it was in Queens, New York. I had a group of friends who loved spooky things. We had just recently found out from I think she was the school counselor. I think so. Yeah, she was a school counselor. I can't remember her name. But she had told us a story about a girl in the 80s who had been unalived and raped in our school locker room. In our school locker room. So, of course, we're like, whoa, right? Like, we're finding this out. We use that locker room every day for PE. So we were like, so my friends took it upon themselves. They had the brilliant idea of bringing over a Ouija board and wanting to summon stuff. I wasn't about it. I didn't even know what a Ouija board was. They had to explain to me what it was, and I did not like what they told me. Anyways, fast forward, we change in the girls' locker room. We go to PE. We go back to change. And there was a door in the back of the girls' locker room to the right that was on the ground. It was more like a sturdy metal, just a platform, I guess. And it had a handle on it. And we used to always mess with it. We would be like, oh, let's see if we can open it today. You know, like, mess with it all the time. And we do PE, we go back to change, back into our regular clothing, and it's wide open. And I used to change in the second row to the left. I remember always going left. That's all I remember. And a lot of the girls used to change in that row where the door was. And one of the girls goes, the door's open. So, of course, we're all in the middle of changing. I'm probably finishing up changing. We run to the back. It's open. And there's light emanating from below it. And, of course, girls start jumping down the hole. And I'm scared. I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I look. Tunnels in each direction. And they ran down and they were screaming and they were running back, and I was like, y'all should probably get back up here. I thought it was extra weird because of the events that I knew that had taken place back in the 80s that we had just learned about. Didn't like it. Didn't like how my body felt. So I stood back. And I observed them, and I kind of held space. I thought it was weird because you can see when someone enters the locker room and there was no other way to enter or exit other than going through the gymnasium. So whoever opened it from inside the locker room while we were in PE. All this to say, there are tunnels underground schools. I saw them with my own eyes. We never question it again. We didn't ask anyone. We didn't ask teachers. We didn't ask the coach. We didn't ask anyone. We were just like, whoa, that was so cool. That was so weird. Why is that there? And we didn't think anything further of it. And now this girl is telling us that that's how they sex traffic kids. Man.
As cheesy, as corny as it may sound, I've dedicated the rest of my life to exposing this. I'm 5 years in, very successful with what I've gathered. I am not allowed on YouTube. Seriously, none of my stuff is. Not allowed on Facebook. If you want my material, just go to thedisclosurehub.com. There's some there. I've got a lot on my Rumble, and I have all of it on Telegram and multiple archives, all for free. That's my big thing, is I never charge for my information. It's all free for you so you could learn. Check out the information. I don't even need your email. Just look at it. Go now before I'm gone.